Hello everyone, I hope you're taking it easy and your day has been great thus far. For this video we'll be going through a unboxing and review of the AMK miniseries Wave 1 Bumblebee. And this little figure, well model kit really, is from YOLO Park and might have been released around 2023-ish, maybe? Anyway, part of a continuing little short series of going through the Wave 1 mini-series releases from YOLO Park, with basically Bumblebee and Grimlock left to go. Front of the box, nice image here of Bumblebee, very nice line art here, obviously in a very G1-esque, to be expected, box style with that very nice red gridded background, and once again that shot of Bumblebee. We also have another shot here of Bumblebee on the side as well, probably the same image that's on the front of his manual, just flipped on the vertical axis. Back of the box, quick shot of the completed Bumblebee model kit and just pretty much the build assembly process, which we're getting pretty used to. And in terms of the wave, so this is now pretty much retrospectively Wave 1. We've gone through the 3 Decepticons, last week was Optimus, this week is Bumblebee, next week we will wrap up with Grimlock. Should be very interesting with Grimlock because obviously unlike the others he's been done in his alt mode, which he does spend a lot of time in, so it's understandable, but unlike the others obviously isn't in more of his traditional robot mode. So that's pretty much the box done. Time to have a peek at all the inclusions. And with everything out of the box, front of the manual, we actually get a repeat of the... Actually, we don't get a repeat of anything, so I think this is actually a third different piece of artwork for Bumblebee. Very nice, very cool. Back of the manual, just pretty much the breakdown of the points of articulation, as we're getting used to seeing. If we open up just the instructions on putting him together. Because he's pretty much symmetrical, everything's pretty much just covered as left and right. We'll get a few different hand manipulators, which is pretty stock standard, and Bumblebee will have a included weapon. So that's the straightforward manual. Now, as for everything else, here's the tray of all the Bumblebee parts, pretty much broken down into just a quick little sub-assembly process. So everything is here, head, torso, arms, legs, and everything. Time will tell to see how well some of these pieces will fit together, given that a lot of these joints thus far have demonstrated to be very unusually tight. But other than that, build is always straightforward, so that's not too bad. So what I'll do now is, now that we've had a quick look at Bumblebee in his individual components, I will put Bumblebee together and we'll have a quick look at that, and I'll probably just keep it simple this week and just do a side-by-side comparison against Optimus, and then when I do Grimlock next week, we'll bring the entire wave back together again. Okay, with everything out of the packaging, here we have Bumblebee in his completed glory. See if I can get the camera to behave. So we'll have a quick look at him, and we also have these extra hand manipulators. We have the open hand as usual, and a pointed finger for both left and right. So that's pretty much been a stock staple for every of the model kit releases within this wave. So those were those. Now, as for Bumblebee, Bumblebee from the front, his side profile, his back profile, his other side profile, and just a quick 2/3 body shot up close. So overall, aesthetically, he does look very cool. Color accuracy feels like it's pretty much, it's definitely very respectable. And it's got his main body colors here. His head's been detailed. His main torso has the logo and the windows colored in. Got some of the detailing on his feet as well. His wheels are definitely colored, but the hubcaps are not done. Oops. Missing a little bit of color on the back, but that's no major biggie. So overall, visually, Bumblebee does look pretty cool. Now, here comes the fun part, articulation. But I guess before we get too carried away, he does include one little hand blaster, which, funnily enough, putting it into this particular hand was actually surprisingly tight, to the point that I'm actually now worried that I'm not actually going to get this out without breaking it. Well, that's different. please come out. There we go. Yeah, so that hand was excessively tight. This hand is probably similar, so I'm actually not going to try and push it back in, but it does include this included hand blaster, which for the rest of this recording I'm not going to put in anytime soon. But obviously they just slit into the hands. Now, articulation, Bumblebee. So your head will do a full 360, this time with some actual relative ease, which is very nice. In terms of the arms, so both will do a full 360 here in the shoulder point. Thankfully enough, because he has no back kibble, it will go through quite nicely. And because it is a ball and socket, the arm will go all the way out to the side like that. And obviously to the front and to the back. The usual 360 here, just at the top of the arm, just I guess where the bicep area would be. Usual elbow bend, pretty much the front only, which is okay. And then there is the full 360 here at the wrists as well for the different hands. So far, in terms of articulations, pretty much consistent with the rest of the line. Main torso will also do a full 360 as well. As for legs, so they will go all the way to the back like so. We'll only go so far to the front, however, just because of the little part of his front hip area, pretty much having some of that extra stuff in the front. But the back is definitely pretty much unencumbered, so it can go all the way to the back. Now, like the shoulders, the hips are pretty much a ball socket as well, so we are going to have that much freedom in the joint. Obviously, you're not going to get a 360 here for, well, pretty much his body's in the way. We will have this nice little swivel up here as well at the very top of the leg when I'm not spinning everything around. So that's pretty stock standard. As for the knee bend will only go so far this way, which is pretty much standard, and then just back into its normal reset standing position. It actually won't go much any further than that. Now, unlike the other 4 releases, there will be a nice full 360 here at the ankle, just because Bumblebee's feet and legs are actually designed differently from the rest, which is very cool. So it's very nice to have some of this movement here at the ankles. So overall, Bumblebee, I think, has actually been done quite well in this little scale model version. So before I go on about my general thoughts, which a lot will be rinse and repeat of previous waves, I will just bring in Optimus from the side here. So putting Optimus and Bumblebee together, so roughly Bumblebee will definitely be much shorter than Optimus, probably at least 2 heads shorter. But putting them together, they obviously do look very cool, having G1, Bumblebee and Prime side by side. So they do look very, very cool. And as I said, next week we'll do these 3 together with Grimlock, and then a full shot of the wave in total, or at least put them on the table. Okay, putting Prime back to the side for the time being. So, Bumblebee, what do I think about you? So, in terms of the articulation and everything, all the articulation points are stock standard across the wave, so Bumblebee hasn't really demonstrated anything new, with the exception of the fact he will have the 360 ball socket movement here at the ankles, just because of the way that his general design is. So that is very cool if you want to have a bit more flexibility with the feet in terms of posing and things like that. Visually, as I commented earlier, does look pretty good as well. It's not going to be 100% accurate. I'm sure there's some color apps and things missing like that, but overall, straight out of the box, still very good. So yeah, definitely can't complain with that. In terms of the articulation, I know we just covered it, but for my Bumblebee, now I made a point of doing it when I was putting him together. Bumblebee has probably been the first of the 5 I've now looked at, whereas articulation actually has probably been, at least in context of the actual points of articulation, has been the smoothest. I mean, his head, I can actually do that very nice 360, without too much issues. The arms worked well, the hips worked well. Everything has actually overall been good. I think the only grievances have probably been putting his hand weapon into his hands. It's probably been the actual point where the joints have been the most tightest. So having done 5 of these now, the tightness of the joints is really weird. Now when I was putting him together, I did make a point of, as soon as I popped everything on, just to do a quick spin or 2 at the joint. So I may have actually made life easier and just during the build process, because I've put everything on and just done this full 360, etc. May have just just added some of that nice little friction into the joint to loosen it up a bit. Maybe it's anecdotal at this point in time, but it has worked quite well. I'm going to put Bumblebee down for the time being and just put Prime back into view. Now, in terms of the pros and cons, I mean, everything is pretty much the same as I've said. So from a wave run perspective, I mean, obviously this was the individual Bumblebee. So for a little bit extra in terms of cost, I've been able to go, this is exactly Bumblebee, no ands, ifs or buts. Now that we have the blind boxes, they are cheaper, yes, but you do have your more lottery style chance of being able to secure a Bumblebee. So it really depends if you specifically want Bumblebee or you don't mind playing your luck. And as I mentioned, to get a dedicated Bumblebee, you do have to spend a little bit more compared to the blind box. It's really up to you. And as I said before, the blind box does have some additional incentive in that you could get 2 recolors. Other than that, I mean, everything's pretty much the same across the board as I've mentioned in previous videos. I won't go too much into it. But overall, I've actually quite enjoyed putting Bumblebee together and getting close to just finishing the Wave 1 collection. And so far, as I mentioned, he's probably been just the easiest one to put together and move around, just because his joints have been a lot more agreeable compared to the others. Which is funny because I actually said last week Optimus had some decent movement in his joints. In fact, his head still moves pretty well. His arms are a little bit stiff, but overall I didn't have too much problems with him. But yeah, Bumblebee, his joints have been a lot more fluidic than the rest, especially compared to the first 3 Decepticons, who had some very stiff joints. Other than that, yeah, overall pretty solid. I've not been a huge Bumblebee fan in the sense of character. I mean, I've enjoyed his character, but yeah, they've done pretty well for the little dude. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to wrap things up there for the unboxing and review of this little AMK mini series Wave 1 Bumblebee. And yes, his weapon is still to the side. I'm not feeling it right now. As I mentioned, next week we'll wrap up the series with Grimlock, and then after that I will need to move into some of my other Transformers backlog stuff, which I don't know yet. I still got a week and a bit to think about it. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing and review video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. It does help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. Extra content can be found on my Instagram, as well as the community post, which admittedly both have been very Warhammer 40,000 themed. But obviously I'm trying to just sprinkle things through each as time goes on. With that being said, stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in next week's video for Grimlock, maybe, or something else on the channel. See ya.